Hello and welcome to Paydirt TV. I'm Dominic Piper. Today I'm joined by Nic Matich, Executive Director of Minerals Ltd. Nic, thanks for coming in again.
No, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to see you again, especially seeing as the news we've got out. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, certainly that news. I had a look in the last couple of days. You've released a maiden resource for your Port Gregory garnet project here in WA. I mean, you were aiming for, I remember last time you talked about aiming for about 3.5 to 4.5 million tonnes of contained garnet. Looks like you've blown that out of the water. Yeah,
it's been fantastic. Look, the resources come in at 135 million tonnes at 4% total heavy mineral for a total contained garnet of 4.9 million tonnes. So, we really staggered. The assemblages come through at 90% garnet in the total heavy mineral, and the VHM total is 95% of total heavy mineral. So we were proud as punch. It's a fantastic result.
It's a great start for the company, isn't it? I mean, obviously you've already kicked off the scoping study work. Where does this link straight into that scoping study, and does it really give it the kick along that it'll need?
Yeah, look, so we've kicked off the scoping study. This, we consider this, a world class resource. We see this, we see we're now in the development stage of the project, so we're now moving into the engineering phase. Look, I think this is very much a developing story. We're very happy.
You mentioned it's a world-class project. I mean, does it sit in the Tier 1 assets as far as garnet projects go?
Look, garnet projects are an interesting one. Until we have the network results, we need to really, from a size perspective, we've got approximately 5 years of global demand sitting there. The network that we're getting done at the moment will give us an idea of the quality of the garnet and the sizing, and that will then allow us to move towards offtakes and the like. So the scoping study, which will come with the network, will then really allow us to define that. But in terms of the size, we are in the ballpark of our Tier 1 asset for sure.
It's very exciting. So what are we looking at in the scoping study, as well as familiar mining methods and techniques and engineering work? What else will you be looking at, particularly in that network side?
So the network will allow us to provide a process flow diagrams and the like, and that will then allow us to get a capex, an estimate on the capex and the operational costs. And part of that work is also to get a preliminary economic assessment. So we'll be able to put an economic number, like a NPV, a rough NPV to the project, and we're obviously hoping for a positive result there. And we think that once we get that scoping study out of the way, assuming a positive result, we can look at companies like RDG, for example. They will be digging dirt almost 18 months to 2 years to the day that scoping study was released. So look, we're very happy. I'm almost lost for words. When the numbers came through from IHC Robbins, we were staggered.
Being able to work that quickly from scoping study to development is a real advantage of a heavy mineral sands or garnet project. What sort of work will you be looking to do once the scoping study is out? How do you manage to take it so quickly through the development curve?
Okay, so we now need to start moving on to environmental and heritage issues. They're the next sort of little steps on the way, because they take a long time to go through. We'll then look at improving the confidence of the resource and moving on to feasibility studies. And once we have the network done, again, as I said, we'll be able to further advance any offtake agreements and starting to put them in place to start sort of shoring up the confidence of the entire project.
And what does that garnet market look like for off-takers? Are they keen for new product?
Oh, my phone literally rings off the hook. It's a very much in demand. There's options to sell a bag product in Australia. There's options to sell bag product overseas, that's where there's the real money add. There's also options to where you can look at selling a concentrate to offshore, and they do the processing, and then they sell the finished product. So there's plenty of optionality for us, and that's what the scoping study is going to look at.
It's really exciting. So what can we expect to see in the next few months as investors then? So what are the big milestone events we should be keeping an eye out for?
Big milestone events are the metallurgy work from Port Gregory, which will then punch out the scoping study. So the network should be finished up around August, and then we'll have June, August, and then same in Q3 for the scoping study, and then we'll also be releasing the network for Inhamban, which is our secondary project.
That's the one in Mozambique. That's very exciting as well.
Yes, yes.
Nic, thanks very much for joining us today. It's a remarkable start for a company that's so young. Congratulations, and hopefully you'll be back in a few months' time to tell us about the results from a very positive scoping study.
You can bank on it.